Hey, Rock, let me
What's
ask
up?
you something.
What's up?
Have you ever felt like you needed closure for someone?
Be honest too. Like you couldn't move on without that one conversation
That one explanation, that one apology?
that you might never get,
And so today we're asking, is closure actually real?
or is it just something we tell ourselves to feel better?
Mm.
I mean, I'm gonna say it. Closure is a myth.
I don't agree. I think closure is real, but people look for it in the wrong place
Nah. Because if closure was real, why do people still feel hurt after getting answers?
because closure doesn't erase feelings. It just gives you understanding.
But understanding doesn't always come with peace.
Most people think closure is a conversation,
Like sitting down, talking it out, getting an explanation.
an apology, accountability, clarity,
Yeah, but what happens when the truth doesn't make you feel better?
or when the person can't give you what you need.
Or worse, they don't care. I mean, here's the truth. Sometimes closure is just rejection in a nicer form.
That's real.
Like you're not actually looking for closure, you're hoping for a different outcome
You're hoping they say something that changes how you feel.
or changes the ending.
But closure doesn't rewrite the story, it just explains it. I think real closure is internal.
Explain that.
It's when you accept what happened without needing anything else from that person.
So you're saying closure isn't given, it's created?
Exactly.
But if that's the case, why do people feel stuck without that conversation?
Because letting go without answers feels like losing control.
So closure is more about control than healing.
For some people, yes.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If someone gave you closure, but it hurt more, would you still want it?
Or if you never got closure, can you still truly move on?
Is moving on without answer strength or avoidance?
And here's a big one. Are you seeking closure or permission to let go?
I think people confuse closure with comfort.
Say that again.
So closure isn't always comforting. Sometimes it's just final,
And final doesn't always feel good.
but it might be necessary.
So maybe closure isn't about feeling better.
It's about accepting what is,
So maybe closure is real.
but not in the way people think.
It's not always a conversation.
It's not always an apology.
Sometimes it's a decision
To stop waiting
to stop hoping.
and to move forward without it. All right. We need answers on this one.
Is closure real or is it something we tell ourselves?
And be honest, are you looking for closure?
Or are you waiting for someone to choose you again?
This is the healthy debate where nothing is off limits, just real.
Welcome to the healthy debate where opinions get real, perspectives get challenged, and nothing is ever off limits.
I'm Rock, bringing logic, truth, and a little bit of pressure to the conversation.
And I'm Lady J, serving perspective, passion, and just enough fire to keep it interesting.
This isn't your average conversation. We're talking relationships, culture, success, and the stuff people think but don't always say.
So if you're ready for unfiltered opinions, real life scenarios, and debates that might just change how you see things,
You're in the right place.
pick a side or don't. But either way,
Let's debate.
Yo, yo, yo.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time
It's time to
Tap in.
tap in.
to tap in.
To tap in.
Tap in. Tap in.
To the
Healthy
healthy
debate.
debate.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Healthy Debate with The Rock and Lady J. What's up, Lady J? How you doing?
hey, Rob, how you?
How you been?
Yeah, I've been good.
Yeah.
You know, that last mm, yeah.
We're not gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna move forward. We're gonna today. Today we're gonna talk about closure. Right? Closure feels like it should be real. Right? Like there's a final conversation, a clear explanation, a moment where everything makes sense, and your heart just lets go.
You know what? I need closure from that last debate, but in
Mm.
reality,
Hmm.
closure is less like a door someone closes for you and more like something you build yourself.
Oh, so is closure real?
Yes, but not in the way that we expect.
All right. So tap in. What do you mean?
All right. So we often imagine closure as like getting the perfect explanation. All right. You and that lady that you plan forever with, or you reminisce about an old relationship, right? And you
Hmm.
look at how it ended. You're like, man, if I could have just had this conversation, maybe she would have chose me again, or maybe I would have chose her again. But even with that perfect explanation, are you getting closure, or are you just hearing the words that you want to hear?
Mm, I
So
don't know. That's good. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, I would love to hear. I had to go through something like this very recently, right? But I would love to hear "I'm sorry," right? In the way that maybe I need to hear it, right? Because if I can take accountability and I can say sorry, why can't that person do the same?
but when you're wanting to hear sorry, are they placating to your feelings or are they genuinely apologetic to what happened? I mean,
I can't.
anybody can tell you sorry.
I can't tell you that. I don't know how they. are I don't. I don't know how if they're placating or actually apologetic. I would assume. I would hope that they're being actually apologetic. Yeah, but that's all we can do. We can't. I mean, I guess you could tell if somebody's
And you can definitely
playing in
tell
your
if
face,
somebody
right?
is apologetic or
Right.
not.
You
Like,
can tell somebody, but if they seem genuine, then that's what you're looking for, right? That one last
but is
conversation that
that really
ties
giving you the true closure?
everything together, huh?
But is that really giving you the true closure? Because yeah, you got to hear the words that you wanted to hear. You got to see them one last time. Is that really closure? I mean, I've had a situation with a fiance, and every time, like, I was like, "Why do you keep texting? Why do you keep calling?" He's like, "I just need closure." Closure from what? What closure are you looking for?
Closure from you.
Okay, and what does closure look like? Because
I don't
if
know.
the relationship is over, it's over.
But what's to say that it's over? I mean, only because we're saying closure. Maybe closure could be closure off of a situation. It can open the door for more understanding. For
Let me ask
or
you something.
or what you think might be closure may not be closure.
And with that, let me ask you something. And to the listening viewers and all of y'all, this
Hmm.
is gonna sound really dark. And I mean, I've had to deal with it. A lot of people have had to deal with it.
Hmm.
And I'm not trying to trigger anybody, so that's full disclosure. However, do you get closure when you lose somebody you care about to untimely,
Right.
you
Not
know,
really.
passing?
Not
Right.
really.
So what is closure? You can't get closure from them. Well, why did you leave me?
Well, here's the thing, though.
Basically called me home. I don't know.
There is a difference, though.
I
Okay,
mean, yeah, there
because that
there
difference is that
you can't
that
talk
was unexpected. I don't get that last say or whatever, and I get that. However, this person is still here, right?
but can we look at it, Rock, as the unaliving of a relationship?
I mean, maybe. What's closure actually? What is it actually?
I don't agree with I don't think closure exists. I think that a person has to learn how to use their coping mechanisms to get over the fact that you no longer have that comfort zone. A lot of people look for closure because again, they're looking for that superficial exchange to happen where, oh, I saw him, he saw me, we locked eyes. he apologized, I apologized, and magically we're back together. Fairy tale ending, happily ever after. It doesn't happen like that. Most times when you see an ex, you cringe. You hear their name, you're like, ugh, come on now.
Yeah, but
Let's
what if
be
they
real.
don't? What if they don't cringe?
They're not over that person, and unfortunately, that person may be over them.
Which is
However,
fine. Which is fine.
you
But it's still somebody's still looking for closure.
okay, find it within yourself. Figure out why it is that you're not over that person. What is it that's keeping your mind tied to them when they've clearly moved on?
Well, I don't know. I think it's like it's when you accept that you may never fully understand why.
I mean,
And
why is that a question?
it's important because a lot of times listen, you got to understand like this is when people are tied to one another and you don't get any clarity, that can actually do some real bad psychological damage for some people, right?
What is it that we really don't get clarity, or we are searching for answers that we've created? Because let's be honest, let's look at this, and I'm gonna take it a little step off, but it'll tie it together. When we go into relationships, most times we create these expectations that of what the person is going to be like, how the relationship is going to flow, and it doesn't go that way. So now you feel like, okay, what do I do to keep this relationship going this way? And then along the line, we also create these other expectations of if when. Like for women, I know a lot of us create scenarios of things that haven't happened because he didn't respond to me in 2.5 seconds. He got to be talking to somebody else. He got to be seeing somebody else. When in all actuality, he laying on the couch, asleep,
Right.
washing the car, walking the dog,
Playing this
whatever,
game,
playing the game.
something.
Exactly. So
Right.
we create these scenarios, and because those scenarios are created, that creates a whole different world and universe for that relationship. So if and when it ends, now you're in your head like, I knew I was right behind this. Why doesn't he just give me clarity? Or why doesn't she just, when in all actuality, they just told you why the relationship is over. That was your closure, that final goodbye. Now, I could see if a person just ghosts you and never say anything.
Right.
Yeah, that's different. You're looking like,
Okay.
what the hell happened?
Maybe
But
that's what I'm tapping into is that there wasn't any closure. Okay.
but it is.
So that's what I'm saying. Like in the event there wasn't any closure. So what you're saying is to stop waiting for someone else to fix what is broke, right? And make peace with unanswered
Make
questions.
your own peace with
Right.
what happened.
I get
Like,
it.
even with a person ghosting you, you still have closure because you know, okay, let's think about it in the reality of a job. No call, no show. You typically get 3 and then you out of there. You know they not about to keep you. You ghosted them. So it's
Right.
over with. They got somebody else on board.
Yeah, but you don't
Think
need
of
no
their
closure
relationship.
from that because you already knew why you didn't have the job anymore.
So you get closure from the relationship too because they didn't call. They ghosted you.
Okay.
Oh, it
So
wasn't me.
it might be different in certain situations, but I get what you're saying. It's less about answers and more about acceptance. I get it.
Exactly.
But I'm going to tell you why it feels like a lie sometimes. Because a lot of times when people say, I need closure, we often mean I need the pain to make sense. Okay. Like I need to understand why I went through this shit. I need to feel like it mattered. Like I need to feel emotional relief. We attach to that other person, right? They might be the least capable of giving it, but we look for it because we need to make sense of it all. At least a lot of people need to make sense of it all. And you know this as a woman, a lot of women do that, right? A lot of women do this where if you've been in situations or relationships or whatever and shit went south, even if it's just a simple argument on the brink of people breaking up, a lot of women need to understand why, right? Why
Maybe
did this happen, or why are you acting this way, or even if it's not even if it's something, even if it's not about the relationship be over, why are you acting like this? Why are we going through this? Why are we doing this? It's always why. So I'm asking the same thing. Like, tell me exactly what went wrong or why did this happen, so that again I look at closure a little bit different. Closure sometimes can be used as learning curve for a person to do better for themselves. Okay. If I get closure, maybe I'll take those keys and these gems that I'm learning from this person in that conversation and apply it in a way that it's beneficial for my growth. Because maybe there's something I didn't see about myself that that person saw about me. Okay. So it doesn't always have to be about just accepting it without getting answers. Like maybe you need that because you're using that as a growth mechanism.
I mean, you can see it that way, but are you really growing internally? Are you healing from
Well,
what?
not at that moment. Not really at that moment, but you do have to let this shit sink in. Like you have to be emotionally mature to do that too, by the way, too.
You calling me emotionally immature?
No, no,
That's
no. But what I'm saying though, if you're sitting in that space with that person and hearing why they're telling you like this is done and this is why, because you did A, B, and C, and this is how you acted, yeah, you have to be matured in order to accept that information and keep it pushing. But maybe it's something that you never saw in yourself.
a lot of people don't see a lot of themselves, and that's why most people have unhealthy relationships because they don't do the work. And when someone gives them the constructive criticism, they're not
They
willing
don't
to
accept it.
accept it.
But that's because they're not emotionally mature to accept it.
It's because a lot of times, and a good friend of mine told me this today, we're not really living in our adult life. We're living in that trauma, that very first time that we learned trauma, that kid state, that kid mind.
Right.
So when you see couples that have the whole fallout and the woman is throwing a tantrum, that's her child, that inner child that's screaming out for the attention. That's not an adult woman acting like that.
Well, maybe not, but the person you're with doesn't know that. So again,
But
you're speaking this from a level where that you're expecting that the person that's with this person trying to get some type of closure knows that about this person's trauma from back in the day. However, if they did know that, you know what's going to happen? The conversation is going to go different.
not necessarily
Well,
because
you would expect it to if the person cared enough about that person.
that's setting expectations, and which is also an unhealthy thing to do because now you're expecting someone to respond the way that you would respond, and they don't have that mental capacity.
Oh,
Oft-
sure.
Oftentimes, we search for closure because we feel like, well, you haven't answered my question yet. No, they gave you the answer. It just wasn't the answer that you want.
Yeah, but again, when you talk about setting an expectation, I'm not saying that's. I don't agree that it's setting an expectation. If you're with somebody for whatever time it is, right? You already learned some of the ins and outs of what may trigger them or what may come off wrong to them. You're going to know how to talk to that person. If you really, really, truly care and have been attentive to them, you're going to know how to talk to that person, right? So you're going to be able to engage with them in a way that they can understand and it's not going to be taken any type of way. Again, we're talking about maturity here. Now, that doesn't work all the time for a lot of people because a lot of people don't know how to speak to one another. Relationships can be toxic. It can be volatile. Like nobody knows how to talk to one another nowadays. But I'm talking about, let's just say surface level. You can actually have a decent conversation with somebody, and even if it's over, closure can be fine. It's okay. How many people have stopped being in a relationship with someone and is still friends with that person, but they're not with them? I'm pretty sure a conversation was had at some point in time before they decided to be friends again.
I can say I have an ex that we became friends and we didn't have a conversation regarding the relationship. We didn't get closure from why the relationship ended. We just knew that it wasn't our time and we're good friends. We do our quarterly check ins and we go through
So,
life. He's married, I've been married, and that's where it is.
so
We didn't
when you
be close.
guys knew your relationship was over, you didn't say this is over or we're not talking anymore or this is done. Y'all just stopped talking altogether and just split.
We literally stopped talking for over a year. And what brought us back together was his parents.
So y'all never had a conversation at all about nothing.
No, we didn't
I
have a
don't believe
conversation.
this. I don't believe this. Get him on the phone. Get him on the phone. Hey, call him right now. We gotta have a conversation with him. I have a feeling.
That man is married. Absolutely not.
I have a
However,
feeling there was a conversation at some point. Something had to, like,
however,
nobody just
I
breaks
will
up
say
and
this.
not say anything.
No, we did. However, I will say this. That person has come on my live. This was year before last, so 2024, because last year was 25, right?
Mhm.
And he did make mention of the relationship, but he said not in a closure manner, but he said I wasn't, not me, but him, wasn't mature enough for the type of relationship that we were trying to create.
And
Had he
guess
known,
what?
hold on, I'm not done. Had he known the things then that he knows now, he would have handled it differently. Did I ask for an explanation? No. He was telling the people because just giving a little bit personal information, when he came back to the state and came to where I was residing at the time, I'd had a baby and I was married. And he had to be told, she's married now and you can't be here. He said that crushed him. However, our relationship had already been over
Right.
prior to that happening. He had in his head, I'm gonna get myself together and go get my wife. Absolutely not. What am I waiting on? We didn't even have a conversation. We broke up under crazy circumstances. However, with growth and maturity, we just was like we could be cordial with each other and do our quarterly check-ins. That's cool. That's not
So,
necessarily closure.
so what I'm gonna tell you is this, though. It is closure. You
For
didn't
who? Him?
ask. Yes, you didn't ask for it, right? You didn't ask for it. However, he understood based off of what happened in the past when he was told he couldn't be there, and then when he came in your live, he actually said, "This is closure. This is the answer. That's not me." It doesn't necessarily mean that you had to ask for it. No. Listen to what I'm saying. You didn't have to ask for it. However, he gave it to you, and he said, "I was not emotionally mature enough to handle the relationship or the what we were trying to build in the past." That is closure. Maybe not for you, but it definitely was for him,
I
right?
had already created my own closure because I
You
learned people.
created a look,
I create,
see?
but again, that's what I said in the beginning. You have to create your own closure. I didn't say that someone else has to give you closure. I said you have to create your own closure, in which I did that because I recognized the type of person that he was at that time and why the relationship didn't work. And I went on about my business.
I get it. But what I'm saying is that man still gave you closure, though.
He
All
gave
these
himself
years later,
closure because he had to speak it out loud to understand why we not on the same. We ain't even in the same book no more.
no, which is fine. But it is technically it's still closure, even though it was for him. I mean, that was more him speaking his truth. I appreciate that. That's a big deal. As a man, that's a big deal where he was able to do that. Like that
I
takes
can
a
go
lot.
deeper into why that was brought up, but we're not
But,
there. So
well, I'm
gonna.
just saying we're not gonna get into that live or whatever we're talking about. But I'm saying though, for a man to say that, it takes a lot. You don't understand like that. It takes a lot. I mean, he had to put his ego aside and all that shit. Regardless of who he is or whatever, it doesn't always come easy to a lot of people. I need you to understand that. You're listening to what I'm saying and you're automatically trying to defend the logic that I'm saying, and I'm telling you as a man,
Trying to deflect
it doesn't come easy.
trying to cut it down. What I'm saying is there's parts of it that you don't understand for like the comment of it takes a lot as a man. Yeah, it does, but if that's the same story that you've told numerous times, what are you putting to the side? That's your story, that's your truth, that's what you're gonna stick with. You can
Well, that was
over and over.
for him though. That was the uncomfortable truth, right? In fact, I won't even say I'll take away the fact that it was closure, which is what I'm gonna say. That was the uncomfortable truth for him, right?
Okay.
That was his apology,
To who?
right? To himself.
Oh.
And to you, technically.
No.
Right? Yes. He literally said, I was not mature enough to sustain what we were trying to build in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you didn't ask for it, he gave it to you. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
Let me ask this because this is where it can get kind of confusing for people, right? Who really requires the closure? The person that broke up or the person that was dumped? Because I broke up with him. I
Well,
didn't
then
need
if you didn't break up, well, yeah, if you broke up with him, you don't require it.
right. So that's what I'm saying. That was closure for him. That was his way of acknowledging the fact that things
Yeah, but
didn't.
you also didn't give him closure. You probably were stubborn.
For
You didn't
what?
want to say nothing to him.
What closure do I need to give
Did you
him?
say something to him prior to breaking up with him?
Yeah, I said this ain't working. I'm done.
Just like that.
Absolutely.
But you didn't give him like no. There was no subtle warnings. There was no conversations and
The
none of that.
warnings come in action. When your actions aren't aligning with your words. Okay.
Okay, so for you, you didn't need closure because you already accepted what you
I accepted what it was.
you were requiring. I get it. I get it. However, I will tell you that man probably needed closure. And you know how I know? Because he showed up. How many years later, thinking that he can get you back, and
Like,
somebody had to tell him that you were married and you had babies. You understand what I'm saying? To see how that transcends?
here's the thing. When you set in your head, oh, that person's gonna wait for me to get better. You already have an agenda that you've created for yourself, and that's what you're rolling with. Oh, by the way, he's a Capricorn too, so
No, stop
caps are
it. Stop
y'all
it.
got the same birthday. Caps are down.
No, stop
Yeah.
it. Now we have the same birthday. That's
Yeah.
disgusting. I don't like you now.
Hey, it ain't
I
me.
don't
I
like you.
I don't have your birthday.
But he ain't me, so I don't care. I want to say that sometimes the explanation is incomplete or dishonest when it comes to the uncomfortable truth. The ending is messy and unresolved, and waiting for closure from that person just keeps you stuck. So that's how people end up feeling. This is why they're looking for it. Literally, this is why they're looking for the answers.
They're looking for closure, and they're stuck in that situation because they're looking for the closure. Stop
Mhm.
looking for closure and create it for yourself. Go out there, get you a notebook from Walmart or whatever little store, dollar store, whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this right now, just understand Lady J is cold-blooded. Okay? She is cold-blooded.
Not cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded.
I'm telling you, because a therapist is going to tell you the same thing. What are you looking for closure for? Have you healed internally?
Well, here's
What
the thing,
have
though.
you done?
Here's the thing, though. You said therapist. That's a key word. That is a neutral person that will actually help you through the situation.
They will
You're
help
paying them
heal
to
yourself.
help you get through what you need from closure.
Because a
So-
lot of people, no, it's
What?
learning how to accept things as they are.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying that you're paying somebody to help you get through.
And a lot of people need to go to therapy.
I get that. So what I'm saying is, if you don't go to that person, more likely you want to talk to the person that you need information from, that you need to close it out with. Otherwise, yeah, go to therapy. Yeah, sure, go to therapy.
Okay, like we said,
Get the help you need. Huh?
like you said in the beginning, a lot of times when you're talking to that person, you're looking to spark that flame again. And then you need closure from that. Well, I wish, how many times have you heard, and I'm sure if you got sisters or nieces, and even y'all in the comments and out there in the world watching this, if you have relatives, if you're man, you got sisters, if you're a woman, y'all get it. How many times have you sat down and listened to your person, whatever caliber, say, I wish I wouldn't have met up with him. I thought that I needed closure, but now I need closure from that conversation. And then I need closure from that conversation. It's a
Okay.
never ending cycle. At what point do you get off the hamster wheel and learn how to deal with yourself internally and figure out, okay, what is it that I'm holding on to that's holding me back? Because if you're holding bricks from the past, you're building the same house and your relationship is going to crumble just like that one.
Okay, so here's the question. What's the shift that changes everything?
Learning how to accept things as they are.
Okay.
I mean, closure becomes that moment, the real moment that you decide, even without all the answers, I'm choosing to move forward anyway. So you can create your own, or you can wait for the answer that you're probably never going to get because a person is only going to tell you what they think you want to hear if they are willing to even have that conversation with you, depending on how the relationship ended.
Hmm. I'm speaking for all you out there that want closure. She is, look, like I told you, she just, when she cut it, it's done, right? It's done. And there's a lot of people that are like that. There's like, I'm like that with certain people, right? But I'm gonna tell you right now, though, if I feel like I've made a deep emotional connection with somebody and the shit ends abruptly, I need to know why.
Look, let me tell you something.
Well, again, hold on. The reason why I said that, though, so I did real work on myself, right? So if I did something, tell me. Like, you just telling me could be closure. You don't gotta tell me why you don't want to be with me no more. Just tell me what I did,
And that's fine.
right?
But do you think that the person is going to be honest with what you did?
I mean, they should be.
When it comes to this topic here, closure, I don't just use it for intimate relationships. I'm talking about friendships,
No,
family. I don't have a problem with ending things and moving forward, because if it's not good for my life, even if another person ended it, if it's not beneficial to my life, then guess what? I'm gonna have to deal with the whatever consequences, repercussions, however you want to state it, and internally heal from what I thought was maybe a forever, or whatever scenario I created in my head. I have to learn how to move past that moment.
Okay, so now I'm gonna get you. You shared with me a situation where you had a friend, something happened, y'all didn't talk based off of not having a conversation. Okay, what happened recently? Think about it. You had a conversation, and then what happened? I want you to tell me. Tell me what happened.
So a simple way to think about it, closure isn't a final conversation. It's the moment you stop needing one.
I'm undefeated. Listen, no, listen. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that sometimes it's a conversation is afforded because simple situations that you speak on could avoid situations that you might they could avoid missing out on real relationships. I'm just saying, and it doesn't have to be somebody you're talking to or intimately or anything like. Just saying in general, right? If we avoid the conversation, we don't 100% understand, right? What happened? And if we have that conversation, we can avoid missing out on true connection. So that's all I'm saying. Closure could not be closure. What you think is closure could actually be mending a situation.
That's not what closure is.
I understand that. But if you're trying to figure out what happened, or like, let's say you're done, like, oh, I don't want to be friends with this person no more, whatever, right? And you're like, I'm about to find out why they did what they did with me, because after you have that conversation, you're done with them. I've seen that too. I've seen my friends do it. They're like, yo, I'm about to find out why this person did this to me, whatever, and then I'm good. They have the conversation. They found out it wasn't actual to them, or that they weren't even a part of it. It was just something else, and boom, they were back to being friends. And it took a little while because obviously there's that cool down moment from all the emotions. However, they had a conversation. What went into it, what the person went into it thinking it was closure, ended up being something completely different. And that's what I'm saying.
Expectations that people set when they're looking for closure, because they're wanting it to be something that most times it's not going to be. There are those
No.
occasions where something changes and someone notices, oh, well, maybe I did look at this the wrong way, da 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 da. However, that's not your norm.
No, it's not your norm. But what I'm saying that they didn't go into it with expectation. Well, maybe they did. The expectation was, I need to hear what they got to say, and then I'm gonna stop talking to them. Right? I didn't give you a chance to speak before. I'm gonna give you a chance to speak now. And when you're done speaking, I'm gonna let you know I'm done. I've seen that happen too. Right? And when it happens, yeah, I mean, I gave you one side of the scenario, but the other side of the scenario is like, yeah, they're literally done. You spoke your piece. I said what I felt. What I said was real. I'm good, right? But either way, both people had closure. Done. However, I just told you, sometimes it doesn't work like that. That closure turns into like, I didn't know that. Had you communicated with me thoroughly, I would have known that. Had you not ignored me or ghosted me, I would have known that. Right. So that conversation turns into what was closure is now something completely different. So again, I think people sometimes are afforded a conversation. Now, depending on the situation, right? You said, I don't want to be with you. We're done. There was circumstantial things that happened within that situation that brought you to that actual decision. Do I think you were wrong in it? No. Right? No. Do I think you were wrong to not give him closure? No. But do I think he needed it? Probably. Because what would have happened is that he wouldn't have came popping back in. He wouldn't have came popping back in. But then again, he wouldn't have came popping back in. He wouldn't have been embarrassed. Number one. So I'm gonna take an idea of what happened. He wouldn't have been embarrassed. Because man, is that an ego? That bruised that man's ego 100%. And two, yeah, he'd have been fine with where it was. But like you said, both parties are now doing their thing, living lives, whatever, or did whatever at that time, and it's good. But for him to come up and say, "Hey, I wasn't mature enough," that's growth. He learned it. He learned it from you. Right? Isn't this what women say? Right? I hate putting the time into a man for them to go and apply that to the
Actually,
next person.
a lot of women do say that. I am a rarity, I would say, because I don't mind being in a relationship with somebody and understanding that I might be on assignment to help them learn something for their person that's being trimmed and propped, or however you want to say it, for them.
Groomed.
So I don't want to use that term because it has a negative connotation,
I know.
but I may be that person that shows them something different than what they've seen before. And if our relationship doesn't work, that's fine. I wish you nothing but success in life. And if they choose to reach out to me, hey, and I've had it happen, I'm with such and such. This is what she likes. Can you help me find a gift? Absolutely. And make sure you add this, this, and this too. The little razzle dazzle. I'm not one of them people that's about to be bitter behind it. I want you to go out there and succeed in life and have the love that you want and desire. If it wasn't me, that's fine.
Mm.
So
I think
that's where I am.
I get you. I think I'm speaking for the people whose brains are wired to hate unfinished stories.
Oh, the people that don't like cliffhangers.
Yeah, like they don't handle open loops and shit well. Like they don't do that well, right?
That's because they have unhealed trauma. It's just the truth.
Is that why you replay conversations?
Yes. Because you're trying to find that loophole. You're trying to find that. But what if, and how about, and maybe.
That would make sense then. That's why you be mentally stuck on that one person, and then like you obsess over what really happened. That makes a lot of
Maybe
sense.
something that happened when you were a child. For people who lack communication skills, they weren't heard or felt unheard as a child. Or people who don't like being touched, they weren't hugged properly. And it could be a whole different thing too. But some of those reasons are why. And it's stuff that a lot of us as adult age people, we go and we walk around and say, I'm grown this, I'm grown that. But as soon as that one thing happens that triggers us, who's really reacting and responding to what just happened? Is it the adult, mature minded you, or is it that child that's living in you that you have not taken their hand and said, hey, we're okay, we're healed, we can walk through this and be peaceful?
Okay. All right. I'm just telling you, to emotionally withdraw from someone is literally like addiction. It's hard too. It's hard. And maybe it's just because, a person bonds with someone and your brain releases that dopamine.
It's a high that you chase.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's the
People that
attachment chemicals right there.
Right, because there are people that are attached to that high because once it and what's crazy is I talked about this earlier today. However, a lot of people don't understand how bad that is on your body.
No, it
Like
definitely is.
you're chasing this and it creates stress and
Yeah.
your cortisol levels are high. You wondering why you can't sleep, you're tossing and turn. It's because you're chasing that high of those endorphins, that dopamine, that oxytocin, all of those things, those feel good emotions. And
Mhm.
it's just like when we talked about people who gossip, right? They're good until they come down off of that high. Now they got to
Right.
go chase another one.
Now I gotta go
The
find something
same
else.
thing,
I've learned
emotional
so
withdrawal.
much. I've learned so much in this episode because, like, literally, I'm telling you, like, when someone leaves abruptly or without clarity, yeah, I think as a person we go through withdrawals. So, and I get it, but is there to say that is that to say that it's a bad thing, right? Is it to say it's a bad thing? Because obviously, I don't think you're just missing them.
You're missing that comfort. You're
No,
missing the
no,
connection.
no. I think you're missing yourself.
You're missing the
You're missing. No, not just the comfort, but I think you're missing who you were when you're with them.
Yeah, because okay, for a lot of women, when they get with a particular type of man, they feel soft, they feel much more in touch with their feminine side. And then when that man is gone, now they're back on flight or fight.
Mhm.
Um, they're back in survival mode. So they feel like they have to be more rough and masculine to protect themselves because they no longer have that protection.
Mhm.
They've
Yeah, it's
changed
a trap.
themselves, that dynamic and that mind frame has changed.
Yeah, it's a trap. It's a trap. Our brains are trying to solve the puzzle. We're trying to solve the puzzle. If we understand why, I feel okay again. I get it. It's a trap.
But that's still the illusion, like understanding will heal me. No, understanding will not heal you. Here's the part most people don't realize. Even if you got the full truth,
Mhm.
it might not be satisfying, it might contradict itself, and it might hurt more. Again, to like what I was saying earlier. All right, they told you what you wanted to hear. It wasn't the truth. How do you feel now? Now you need closure from that conversation. So you're hurting yourself more. You're ripping the band-aid off of a wound that is not healed because you haven't taken the time to put the correct thing on it to heal it. You haven't taken the time to examine yourself, and see what you need. Because what you're actually craving isn't information, it's emotional resolution and information.
Does not equal resolution. I
Thank
get
you.
it. I get it.
Thank you.
I get it. Okay. All right. So based off everything that you said, closure is really about identity repair.
Yeah. Breakup,
Okay.
ghosting, betrayal. It doesn't just hurt your feelings, they disrupt your sense of self. So
Facts.
I know I've done it in the past before I knew better because when you know better, you do better. You ask yourself, why was I not enough?
Right.
Was any of it real? How did I not see this coming? Because you don't know what the future holds. I had to like the first time I asked myself, why didn't I see this coming? Because dummy, you don't know what the future holds. That's why. Because you not Miss Cleo psychic line. You don't know what's coming, and she ain't even know what was coming. So I mean, come on now.
Right. I get it. Makes sense.
But I mean, as your brain tries to rebuild your identity, can we think of it like, closure at its deepest level is when you replace what did they do to me with what do I believe about myself now?
I mean, sure. Sure. I'm gonna say look, y'all heard me. I said sure. Okay, I'm gonna agree with her. Because I've learned a lot today. I promise you, tomorrow I'm gonna be a different person. In fact, tomorrow might be so different that people may not like me.
Hey, I mean, there's two types of closure: external closure, which is rare. That's that
Mhm.
closure that we don't see a lot.
Oh, so that's like the honest conversations, the mutual understandings, the all that shit. Like that's what that is.
Yeah,
That's the external closure.
yeah.
That's
But
that's what old boy didn't get.
you go see talk about old people, you go bring us out.
I'm just using it as an example. We don't know who that person is. It could have been fake. Anyway,
Could have been. The
what's the
internal
other
is
one?
horrible. The internal closure that I talked about. You
Okay.
stop reading their version of events. You create your own meaning and you accept ambiguity without spiraling. Most
Mm,
people want that external closure. They chase the first. But true healing,
comes from the second.
say it with me, no. Healing comes from the second one.
Right. I get it. Okay. So okay. I feel like my heart is just dropping right now, for real. Like I'm learning because I'm learning a lot in this situation about myself. Okay.
That's what the healthy debate is supposed to do.
No, I get it. But
Even if you the host.
it don't matter. It's cool. It's cool. Listen, it's all about growth. I'm gonna continue to grow, as we all should, right? We don't know it all, so let's continue to grow. But I have been that person who looks for the answers or looks for the conversation, because not necessarily that it's owed to me, but because I maybe it is closure or maybe it's just understanding, because especially when things end abruptly and you don't understand why, yeah, that's kind of messed up. Because it is a psychological thing. Like that person is psychologically abusing that person if they don't say something to them. I'm just putting that out there. That's fair, right? So some endings haunt longer, right? You struggle more with closure if things ended up suddenly, that ghosting, the no warning, right? The relationship felt intense but unclear, right? You never got to express how you really felt. I've experienced this, right? And there were mixed signals or inconsistencies.
So
Huh?
get to ask you, was it real?
Right.
It's not a simulation. It was real.
Well, again, that ambiguity is what keeps the loop alive. Seriously.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
But I mean, what real closure looks like internally
Mhm.
is subtle, not dramatic.
Okay.
It sounds like this, like I may never fully understand them, and that's okay because I mean, you got to be okay with that. Their behavior says more about them than me. See, I mentioned that earlier, right?
Mhm.
All right.
Right.
I don't need their explanation to move forward, and you don't. No is a complete sentence for answer. No, I'm moving on. And emotionally, it feels like less urgency to revisit the past because, again, you're going back to have a conversation with somebody from your past. Why are we looking in rearview mirrors? You're supposed to be looking forward. Um,
But what if
less
the past looks so good? All right, keep it moving. I'm sorry.
I don't care how good that past look. You remember in the
What
Bible
if
what happened
what
to Lot's wife?
All right, continue.
Oh, okay. Less desire to check on them. How many times have you drunk text your ex?
Never.
All right. More
Never.
energy directed back into your own life because let's be honest, while you're searching, you out here like in daylight with a flashlight trying to look for that closure. You wasting time that you could be using to rebuild yourself, heal yourself internally, and be better for your next relationship. Learn the lesson that happened and move
Okay.
forward.
So
The
what's
hard
the I was gonna say, what's the hard truth that people avoid?
sometimes the reason you can't find closure is because you're still hoping the story isn't over.
Hell yeah. The story was so good though. What if the story was good?
If it was that good, it wouldn't have ended.
Yeah, but again, it was good.
And you're still hoping it's not over, and the closure only fully lands when hope shifts from maybe they'll come back even if they don't, I'm good. I'll be okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. Man, this is crazy. But it makes sense. So if you want something practical, try this mental shift. Instead of asking, why did they do this?
Ask, what does this situation teach me about what I will and won't accept again? That question gives you something they can't take away.
Listen, Jay, you've taught me a lot this episode. I'm never going to say that ever again on another episode. I'm pretty sure of it. But I do appreciate you for your intel on this, okay? Because sometimes we have to see both sides, you know what I mean?
Just move on.
Yeah, so but I appreciate it though.
Moving on. That's what you gotta do. Keep on
Well,
moving.
you know what? So I like motion. So you know what? Yeah, let's do that. That's what we're gonna do. Starting tomorrow. All right. So that wraps up another episode of the Healthy Debate with Rock and Lady J.
We said what we said. We challenged some perspectives and maybe even shook the table a little.
But that's what Healthy Debate is. All about growth, reflection, and real conversation.
Remember, sometimes in life you may need to tap out, step back, breathe, and reset.
But don't forget to tap back in, because your voice, your growth, and your journey, it still matters.
If something we said today made you think,
laugh,
or even disagree,
then we did our job. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the conversation with someone who isn't afraid of a little healthy debate.
Until next time, stay open-minded, stay motivated, and keep showing up for yourself.
This is the Healthy Debate with Rock and Lady J. Until the next episode, y'all take care.